Okay, it's 5 o'clock on 3/19/25. We're going to call the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission meeting to order. First item on the agenda is a recognition and appreciation. Mr. Stephen Dobson.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'll give you that and I'll read it for you.
All right.
President Buck has a plaque to give to presented to Stephen D. Dobson to commemorate and recognize serving as president of the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission for the year of 2024, Berkeley County, West Virginia. And the inscription reads, "In heartfelt recognition of your exemplary leadership, unwavering commitment, outstanding communication skills, and remarkable achievements throughout your dedicated service as President of the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission in 2024. Your astute leadership, significant progress has been made in the area of promotional testing for deputies, a topic that has been a focus for several years. Your vision and determination have brought this initiative closer to fruition, paving the way for enhanced opportunities and professional growth within the ranks of deputy sheriffs. Your meticulous attention to detail led to a comprehensive review and revision of the Civil Service Rules and Regulation, which had remained unchanged since 2021. This process, guided by your insightful leadership, resulted in critical updates and refinements, ensuring that the Commission's guidelines are both relevant and effective in addressing the evolving needs of our community. Furthermore, your forward-thinking approach led to the creation of an addendum allowing for virtual attendance, a progressive step that has modernized our operation and improved accessibility for all Commission members. Your exceptional service, dedication, and vision have made a lasting impact on the Commission, Sheriff's Office, and the Berkeley County community. We owe you a profound debt of gratitude for your tireless efforts, unwavering devotion, and steadfast commitment to excellence. Presented this 19th day of March, 2025, and it is signed by Dale A. Buck, President of the Berkeley County Civil Service Commission.
Thank you very much.
Appreciation.
Thank you very much.
Yay.
Well, I certainly appreciate this. I'd be a little remiss if I didn't say it was a team effort, and John's help, the other commissioners, and certainly the sheriff and the association have been willing to work together, and it's just it made it very easy to achieve anything.
And so. Scott too. Scott for sure.
Yeah. Especially Scott on the
rewrite
of the rules. So
great job.
Thank you. So thank you very much.
All right.
You're welcome. And sir, at the end of this, once we go offline, if we can get a few pictures for that. So.
All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Has the commissioners had an opportunity to read the minutes from last February?
Good.
Any additions or corrections?
Nope.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? Vote. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is budget update information. Mr. Alden?
Yes, sir. So relating to the budget, and Dale, Mr. President, I need you to sign approving those meeting minutes at the end.
Pass that down to him.
So for the budget update, very good, thank you. So for the budget update, nothing has changed since for the current 24-25 budget. We still stand at having available balance of $13,715.01. The bulk of that relates to the $10,000 in the professional services account. So far, the obligation rate is that of overall is 12.9% of the budget. The biggest expenditures thus far in our budget has been advertising, and we've spent $1,989.49 out of that. So currently we're good. I know there is an outstanding balance invoice with the company that we worked with for the advertisements. There's 700, one of them is $710.96. That is for the newspaper ads that ran in the Morning Herald, the Waynesboro newspaper, and the Chambersburg newspaper. Each of those, there was an ad for hiring that ran in 8 times in each newspaper, which for $710, I'm very pleased with that. Considering a small ad in our journal is $408 one time run. So we will be going back to this company as well. There's also an invoice out there for $210. That relates to the for the online job boards, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor. Those were out there for advertisements for us as well. And to give you an idea about the reporting of those job boards, we had 1,000, and I promised you last month I'd have the numbers for this month. We had total views of 1,899 for that $210, and which equated to 171 clicks. Somebody actually clicked to open up the thing. So 1,899 was where they viewed it. So with that, that's the only outstanding bills that the budget has for right now. So let's move on to the hot topic, and that's the 2025-2026 budget. I would say it's been a very active month dealing with that. So let's go back to on Thursday, February 26th. The County Commission met to begin working on the county budget for next year, starting 1 July. The county clerk, he was here when they were discussing it. It was reported that for the $16,500, which was for the line item of training and education, for $16,500. Somehow it got construed that was to buy books for the promotional examinations. When he said that, when he heard that, he came down and said, "Hey, well, is this right?" And I said, "No, sir, that's not right." He said, "Come on." So we left the county clerk's office, came up, and I got an opportunity to address all the commissioners. Commissioner President Gokenauer thought that's what that $16,500 was for. And I explained, no, sir. I explained the difference between a study guide and a set of 5 books. And when I did the initial presentation, of which both chiefs were there for that kind of came up, and I explained it there too. So how it got misconstrued, I don't know, but things like that can happen. So, fast forward to a week, they announced their budget, and they cut from the county clerk's budget that $16,500. They were very adamant at that meeting that they were not going to purchase books for people to study from.
Yeah, why educate people?
And I said at that time, I said, we know that. We, as the county clerk's office, didn't feel it was fair because the county clerk's budget could not handle financially buying a set of 5 books, and I'll use the corporals for the example that we're testing for sergeant. Those books were just under $500. And from a fairness standpoint, if you can't buy for five books for all of them, then the county clerk's office felt we couldn't do it for any of them. So that's when it came back to the deputies. We're going to have to buy their own study books. Not the study guide. Again, the study guide only costs $10. And we incorporate that into that $16,500. But they cut the budget, and it's not in there. Now,
How many of the study guides are there total, John, or not the study guides, but the books?
there's 5 books for the first line supervisor, which is corporal and sergeant.
Okay.
There's 5 books that are for the second line supervisor,
Okay,
lieutenants and captains. Now, again, I know we've talked back and forth a little bit. The intention was to get one test that was going to be the same for corporal and sergeant, one test that was going to be the same for a lieutenant and a captain.
so 10 books would cover the promotional testing for the Berkeley County Sheriff's Department. 2 sets of 5.
No, sir, that's incorrect.
Well, that's why I'm asking, how many
Okay.
books would it take to
It depends
have a-
upon
to have
how
a
many
full
people
library?
test.
One person testing for all positions? How many books would it take for that one person to go all the way up the ladder?
If one person is testing for the rank of corporal, they would need a set of 5 books per
Now they're
person.
testing for the next one, how many books they need? My
Those-
question
those
is to
5
get from
books would be
from
the
the
same.
beginning to the end, how many books are there available to test all the way up to the very top level,
Two
from the
sets
bottom
of
to the
books.
top?
2 sets of 5 books.
2 sets of 5.
So there's 10
That's
books.
providing that company doesn't change any of those 5 books. That is a possibility.
Well, yeah, books are always updated with,
Right.
updates and stuff, but my point here is that, maybe we could look at something like a checkout system for these books. Buy 3 sets of each of the 5 sets, allow these people to check them out and utilize them that way.
Well, I think it's a moot point now because they didn't approve the budget, which was to get the test questions
That is
done
true.
and sign with the company.
That is
Which
true.
was either they misunderstood or they just at the end didn't care. So the money was never for the books. The money was for the test and to get our own questions added to the test. Based on policy and
Right.
local rules. So
I thought we had that covered. Okay.
so that's what the budget was for.
That $16,500 was to localize the test from departmental policies, West Virginia State Code, and at a cost of $49.99 per test question. So, but when all said and done, it was $16,500 for the test that we were going to need, projected to need for a year. Keep in mind, last year you had 24 deputies that were eligible to test for the rank of corporal. And with that being said, that's that's a set of 5 books per each one of those that's eligible to test. That's where, and we didn't factor that in because of that amount. So that's where we stand now. I had sent you folks the day after that, or maybe the day after, an email, and I had shared it with the sheriff as well. Some options, and that was going to be to take some of this year's money, again, that $10,000, that could be an option, and I gave 3 options. I gotta say at this time, I'm not going to throw those options out because the county clerk for the budget is kind of like former President Dobson said at the January meeting. his concern was, what happens if we don't get that money? And that's what happened. We did not get that money. So therefore, going forward for this year, county clerk is not at a point where he feels comfortable spending that money, not knowing what the future holds. And like I say, I think he's.
It looks pretty much like the issue is dead for this year. I think the question is, what do we start doing so we do something better next year?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, I think it is dead for this year because the budget's already been approved of that, but we've got to, we obviously didn't do something right and approach this properly because it's obvious. We can see how much we need this. The sheriff wants it. The association wants it. I mean, these are all things that'll do nothing but better the Berkeley County Sheriff's Department and the people that we bring on board and the people that we promote. So I don't, we have to somehow sell that next year to get budgeted for this type of a endeavor.
Correct. To say what can we do better? I would say the thought process was by the commission that the county clerk has money that he can move around. In talking with the county clerk, I mean, if he moves it from someplace else to us, that's taking away from that other organization. It could be voter registration. It could be the finance department. So somebody within his area is going to get cut. So that's what it comes down to. That's why I think a reasonable approach is to go for one rank at first, not going for two. Maybe next year we say we're going to look at the promotion of using a new test system for, and I guess that's where I would ask the stakeholder somewhat, the sheriff, to weigh in with you all. Where would you like to see the new test applied first?
Yeah, Sheriff, that's a good question. Would it be the first one? Because that's where most of the, I mean, to me, you'd be taking the prerequisite before you took the actual class, right? So it would be the first one?
That's going to be your most costly.
It is going to be the most costly. That is true.
And it also gives you're going from, to a corporal, and then from a corporal to a sergeant?
Correct.
Okay. So that at least, if we get the books and the stuff, these guys have all this stuff, then they're going to get a lot of the very important stuff at the beginning. And if we can prove within a couple of years how beneficial this is, you get better candidates, better results, better statistics, whatever it is, we can say, hey, we can relate it back to this, and then maybe get the funding to go to the next level. Because I really think that's going to add a lot of value for you guys, just by giving them this information, allowing them to do study for it, and I just,
Not something we're going to solve tonight. I'd say we just, it's not something we're going to solve tonight, so.
Well, no,
I think we should just get back to.
Right, so how do you want to table it for, because we have a sort of an idea now to cut it in half, and then we also have $10,000 that we never use, that we could use. We cut it to 16.5 and half. We're at 8,000, right, John? Am I doing my math right?
8,250.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 8,250. Sorry.
The thing is, and I put that out there, just keep in mind, if you use that $10,000 and you need it for legal fees on down the road, then you could be hurting yourself in the long run.
Well,
wait till
we've
June
never needed it
29th
before. We have a lawyer. We've never needed it before, and we have a lawyer on the commission. So,
Yeah, but he can't represent.
I know, but at least we can look up legal stuff.
Mr. President, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
I don't really so much have a question, but 2010 would prove you all incorrect about
I agree.
legal fees.
Yeah. 2012.
No, earlier than that. I was one of the initiators, 2009. started in
Okay.
2010. That bill went up into the $50,000,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just, I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but.
no, I appreciate that. I was not
We're
aware
all
of that.
squeaky clean.
Yeah.
right?
I wasn't hearing that.
We need to approve this.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit off topic here,
We don't approve a budget.
Okay,
which is
sorry.
fine. No, that's
We have to approve
fine.
the finance report.
Just, I would be very reluctant to take
Then why present it?
$10,000 and
Awareness.
spend it on something else. It's been a requisition for a reason. Budget update. Mr. Alderson, are we done with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We can pursue this, again, we'll do it again. We'll put it in next month's
Yeah,
budget.
okay.
Agenda, and go forward. Old business. Well, it's test providers for deputy sheriff promotional examination. A lot of these topics are gonna bounce around the same budget.
That's what we already covered, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Open hire process,
Yes.
issue 2024-13.
So the rules went out on March 10th, to everybody to review. We're requesting any questions or concerns with anything in there by April 10th, and then we'll answer those. Those are to come back to Mr. Alderton, and hopefully we can get those approved at April meeting.
I know some corrections or suggestions came in from Mousy, Mr. Mousy. Anything else received so far?
No, sir. At this point in time, we've only received one email with any updates. That spreadsheet is in your packets to the items that he suggested.
right.
Originally, he had suggested deleting the footnotes, but when I talked to him about it via email, he didn't realize they were for footnotes, and he said, no, those are good to keep in there. I think there's like 7 items that he's addressed, and they were minor. I know Scott Wilson and I were really very pleased that from the legal department, there was only those few items. So we're waiting to hear back from the sheriff and the Deputy Sheriff's Association on what you folks for the rules and regulations want to see revised.
So what's our process going forward? We're waiting for feedback and
Yep.
input, and then what?
And we'll consider all those, any
In
changes,
the commission or?
the committee,
Okay,
and bring it back here.
Okay,
Well, it'll be sent out if there are any changes. I mean, if there are a lot of changes, of course, we may not make April meeting for approval. So
But if there aren't, we should be able to approve it.
if there aren't, we should be able to, yeah. move forward. That's the goal.
okay.
And I guess I'll go ahead and bring it up. I know the sheriff, you and I had a little email yesterday about the test accepting to the day of and applications and all that. If Yes, sir. If that's something that you're looking to, that needs to be addressed in there, because as it says right now, there is a cutoff date. And I guess maybe instead of consider, if it goes that route, maybe a grace period of 2 or 3 days as opposed to right up to the day of testing. So, but that's on you. Sure.
Yeah, well, like I said in that email, only,
Yep.
if we did this, found out we can have as many tests as we want feasibly. The only other thing we'd have to address is the waiver that now, and I think we have enough notaries that can notarize on site. The other one was requiring a physician's
Certification.
certification, but I think other places they just do a waiver liability. On the safe side of that, we could have EMS on site when we do these runs, and if we ever had an incident, that would be, then they would come out and other events. In case you'd have an incident, that would show that I've been doing this for a long time, never had a medical.
Isn't there also an issue of whether the number of male and female, if there's a number of female applicants, we need to have a female
female
Proctor,
administrator.
yeah.
We did.
We would always have at least, female there, we could do them I think,
Realistically, need the female for the push-up.
Yeah.
Just because you put this under the test. Typically, I'm there and we have a female on both days.
and the other thing you could go to, I think you go use a block.
That's true.
Well, I know we got plenty of people. I'm just saying it's not something you can do that day. Sometimes it's get enough people there unless
We typically don't have a
make it
problem
sure
with
you're
that.
going to have enough. So.
I mean, you can run them in, only takes a few seconds to do push-ups and a couple cycles of them. Anyhow, getting the test will not be a problem.
So one of the reasons we haven't wanted to do that in the past, as I understand it, is because we had to pay for tests, didn't want, or we weren't paying for tests, I understand, but we had to order the tests in advance. And we needed the number. And now you're saying that it appears that we don't have to order in advance, or in advance of the test.
Correct. I received the email. I emailed him, asked the question yesterday morning. The lady, Tracy Richardson, who is my point of contact that I always deal with, she said, no, as long as it's reasonable that you don't ask for 100 tests. So, which we won't. With that being said, I think it's something to consider. And again, full disclosure, John Alderton, as your administrative assistant, is and I don't think under the county clerk's office that I work for would be in favor of doing away with that medical certification form. I think that protects liability-wise, that maybe somebody has a heart issue and they don't know it. And so that's what they're certifying, that they feel they are fit to do our agility test.
So at this point in time, the block has been our rules and regulations set a deadline, right?
Yes,
A
correct.
deadline, yes.
And if that's not the block, then what becomes a block? The waiver or certification becomes the next cutoff. So how would that work so that we could move it forward, closer to the date at least?
I have, again, and the sheriff alluded about notaries. I'm a notary. There's three things that need signatures in our current application. One is an information of a release document that really goes over to the sheriff's department as well, in case we need to inquire of more information of the applicant. That needs a signature. I've talked with Chad Weinbrenner, the Deputy Director for Berkeley County Human Resource Manager as well, and he is of the belief we can get them to sign that release that day before we do our testing. Because for the day of testing, the agility, we're not asking for any information, so we're good there. But that will be our last eyes on an applicant from our office is at that written test. So that's signature number one. Signature number two is the notary page that's in there. Again, I am a notary. I can sign that morning. So that hurdle can be overcome. The only one that in my mind is the stickler is the medical certification. And as it is right now, we are getting ready to go online. Our next test cycle is going to kind of go through the county process where a person types it in, they hit transmit, that application is going to come direct to me. There's information that we've asked to be uploaded, a copy of their driver's license, and this medical form. They would take it to get signed. Once it's signed, uploaded. I would tell you that is a big concern, and Chad, Mr. Weinbrenner alluded to it as well, from the aspect of they show up the day of testing, and that form does not have, it says in there, the medical person has to say, the applicant can or cannot. That medical provider has to circle can or cannot. perform the physical agility test. With that being said, if they show up that morning and that document is not circled, then I am of the belief they would not be allowed to test.
Under state code, it says they require that. That's the only way I'm saying.
Wait, I'm sorry, I
Under
misunderstood.
state code, it says you may require physician.
Correct.
So it doesn't say you shall, so this is a requirement by state code. It's something you all could consider. I'm just trying to streamline this.
Rules issue.
Have to show up on the same day. Other agencies do this,
What do the other agencies do, Sheriff? Can you,
walk-on days.
so,
They
okay.
just say, show up, fill out a form, fill out
A
a
waiver.
waiver. I think Montague County Sheriff's just has a one-page application. Fill out it with just enough information. They can fill out the other application after the fact.
Right. Now, Dale, if they sign a waiver form and it's notarized and the waiver says that we're not responsible if they have a medical emergency on during this testing, are we not responsible?
Anybody can be sued for
I don't think
anything.
Anybody can be
Yeah,
sued for
and-
anything, but does that, okay, let me question, in general, would that hold up in
A
court?
waiver is not a bad idea, but it has to be a good waiver. It has to be intelligently made, etc. You know what I mean? It can always be attacked,
I
but
think-
anything can be.
Yeah, I think now that we got the test thing figured out, I
Yeah.
think we can definitely move the football closer to the
Yes.
goal line.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a matter of, I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, if you can't read what you need to bring and bring it, even if it's same day, I wouldn't be in favor of letting them test anyway. If you can't even follow a few simple instructions and go get your medical thing and, you know,
Probably
you don't have to maybe turn it all in, but you should be able to at least get it by that day, you know.
out
Anyway.
of 10 applications that come in to me, at least 4, maybe 5 of them will not have the word can circled. And I have to have them go back.
Two things
Yeah.
now. Quite possible to download that form.
Tom, if you would, come on up here to the mic, please, because in the past, I haven't been able to hear for the
Two
recording.
things now since I stood up. The medical form, if we continue to require, which I've read the code just as the sheriff has, it says may, you don't have to. I think that's an easy out on streamlining this process to some degree. It's quite possible for me to go to MedExpress tonight, having downloaded that form, and get a doctor up there to sign off on that, can or can't. I can have that
Correct.
done tomorrow to test tomorrow. Second thing, if you're going to notarize something, do you not check their ID to make sure who that person is, who they say they are, before you notarize it?
I do, when I notarize.
Then they've provided their ID. You said that you needed a copy of it. What do you need a copy of it for if they're showing it to you to notarize the document that we're talking about here?
That's
That can be
really-
provided, that can all be provided at a later time throughout the course of the background process if they get that far. They're going to have copies of all that stuff.
Them providing the driver's license has nothing to do with any notary.
Right, but you're going to notarize it, don't you make sure they are who they say they are before you
That
notarize
form
the
is
document.
on there. That
You said you needed a copy of their driver's license on the test day. About 10 minutes ago, you said you needed a copy of their driver's
No,
license.
on the.
I said
on-
for the
on
application.
Yeah, when it comes over the internet, when they file it to him through the email, they gotta bring a
Correct.
copy of it and send it to him. But if they come on when they came on the test day, we actually had to have their physical license with them.
Right. What do you need a copy of it for that day? If they, so long as they show it to you to say, hey, I've brought my one-page application with me, and I went to the doctor at MedExpress last night. Here's my medical form. What else do you need?
I don't think anybody said that.
Yeah,
They
no, I
need to
didn't-
have a
yeah, I
copy
don't-
that day.
I'm
I
a
don't
little
think,
confused.
no, he said that with the application.
With the application,
online.
I didn't say that day.
What's that?
I didn't say that day. I said what they need to have that day signed is that medical waiver
But it would have been, you said that the photocopy of the driver's license would have been submitted.
with the application.
Right.
When it's uploaded to us, yes.
Great.
I think I could clarify what, two different things here. There's gonna
Yeah.
be people that submit their applications online, just want an opportunity, one walks on, it's two totally different things. They wouldn't go online, they would show up that day and they could fill out something. That's where we're at.
Okay.
I think we're getting hung up on some ants.
We're getting hung up on some details that aren't going to be ironed out tonight, that's for sure. Did you want to speak?
Yes, I just wanted,
Thank you.
wanted to make it known that the association agrees with what the sheriff's department is saying about walk-on applicants. I don't think that we're in a position where we can be making the application process potentially prohibitive to people. I will say two of the applicants that just tested, one of them found the cost prohibitive to go get that medical certification. Additionally, as the person in this room who's probably most recently had the medical certification at the beginning, I literally walked into an urgent care, paid them $50. They said, "Can you run?" And I said, "Yes." They said, "Do you have any heart conditions?" I said, "No." And they signed my paper. So I don't think that it's any more legally binding or sufficient than for us to have a waiver. And I would also argue, just in the interest of the application process itself, if we are streamlining it and making it online, we can advise applicants that are walk-ons that they should arrive an hour early and they can fill it out online from their cell phones.
Well, okay, wait. Right now.
Actually, that won't happen because
We're talking about rules and regulations change, okay? And the rules and regulations are out for review, and there's a process. And the committee's going to review suggestions.
Absolutely.
So let's make the suggestions. And I think one of the questions for Mr. Alterton to pursue is, does the county commission have objection to a waiver as opposed to the certification? Do they require the physical certification? And from the sheriff's department, from the association, what are you suggesting? Okay, and get into the rules and let's work on it that way. Okay, that works? Okay.
No, that's the way to go. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
That's why you do press.
Yes, sir. All right.
Keep it up, you'll get one of these next year.
Hey. All right. I think we're moving on to the where are we? 25001 annual report. No,
We got
I went from
a couple
20.
of testing,
Right.
29.
See, I won't get one of them now. We're at 2024-0029.
Okay. That one relates to the December 14th testing. As of yesterday, March 18th, I was contacted by Miss Brandy Sullivan about swearing in applicant Plank as the deputy sheriff. Talked with the county clerk yesterday to see which direction he wanted me to go. Because as of this point in time, the Civil Service Commission has not blessed applicant Plank from the aspect of, yes, the county commission approved his date of hire for this past Monday, but the letter from the sheriff's office has not come before you all to sign off on him as being a deputy. So my dilemma was, do I swear him in or do I not swear him in? And I think the county clerk had a conversation maybe with Mr. Wine, and he says, yes, we'll go ahead since the commission has already approved him to go ahead and swear applicant Plank in. So that's where we stand with applicant Plank. I'm going over to swear him in tomorrow at 10
Do we
o'clock.
have that letter yet?
We do not.
The reason that you
Come on up to the mic, please.
no more. Okay, I'm pretty loud. The reason that we do not have the letter is because of the hangups that we're trying to overcome with Valley Health. We are not able to get results until multiple doctors sign off on them. He has completed all of his exam. I've been told that he's passed everything. We did start him. It's been over a week. They still do not have a second doctor to sign off on everything, and he had to show up 3 times to get his physical. This is unfortunate that we're having to deal with this, but unfortunately we have not located anywhere else that can do all of the tests that we need done. So we're kind of in this place where no matter what we do, we're fighting this fight. It isn't a matter of anything not being done. It's a matter of them just not finding another doctor to sign documents, which also hold him up for the academy and everything else that might come down the line. But it It's just something that we're fighting.
Okay. In regard to Deputy Plank, he's been approved by the county commission,
I'm
right?
going to swear him in tomorrow.
And, all right, we're gonna swear him in tomorrow. So that's done, right? That,
Part is done, but we still, and I talked with Chief Young today, and he's going to get us a letter.
They've been prepared for some time. I'm just,
Yeah,
until the doctors say, here is your hard copy approval, I've been holding on to it for about a month.
I think the chief is like thought process. Yeah, they have been given a verbal, but until you get that document in hand. So,
wait till we get the paper. Sounds like a done deal. We need to vote on anything.
Could we, yeah, I don't think we can, until we get the letter, that's our process. We need to figure out a better way to get these medical, whether we can put somebody on retainer, that's probably what we'll spend the $10,000 on it. It's that hard.
Hire my daughter.
Huh?
Hire my daughter. And just pay daddy.
so
It's one test. One test is the hang-up that no one else can seem to do. And once we've been told by the commission, if we can locate another place, we are able to utilize them, but finding one place that will do all of the testing.
Crazy.
it is crazy. And believe me, I mean,
I'm not sure where we are.
I feel your all's pain because we want to help you as much as we can. It's just that, again, with the state codes the way they are, we need to make sure that's covered.
Lost.
So,
I'm kind of joking about it. I'm kind of lost. What are we waiting for from this guy?
We're waiting for 2 doctors have to sign off on the medical, correct?
correct.
That's in code. That's not in our, I mean, it's in our rules, but that's in state code, I believe.
It is.
714 and that.
Is
Thank you,
that,
sir.
it's the type of test that is taking that the reason there has to be 2 doctors?
Statutes or
Lack of manpower at the Valley Health System that we're using.
Wow.
Paragraph 3 under
That's
714 specifically says it has to be done by a board of doctors.
Consisting of 2.
Yeah.
Very specific in the statute.
We won't.
And again, like they've said, this has come up before. Back in September of this past year, we had the same thing. A letter came before you all to sign off on, and we didn't have that. They didn't have the doctor's certification. You all as commissioners would not sign off on that one. They finally did get it like a week later and resubmitted it to you, and then you approved that.
I don't mean to sound stupid, but what's the status of this man if the county, if he's sworn in, but he has not been before the commission, and we haven't got the letter? What's the status? What's his,
He started Monday.
Yeah.
what do we need to do?
At this point, there's nothing you can do.
Oh, well.
I don't see anything that you can do.
The most I could do was get, I guess he has passed all your tests. We just need another signature.
Okay.
And as of yesterday, they
But you verified, talked to somebody on the phone, they said, yes, he passed all of his tests. They just have to wait for the signature. Okay.
Okay, so that's on applicant Plank. Earlier today, I reached out to the sheriff and to Chief Young from the eligibility listing from December, of which Plank is one of the 2. There is 1 remaining applicant. We received a letter today for that applicant to request to be removed or stricken.
Got the letter.
That letter is in your packets. It's in there. As well as I put a letter in your packet of a letter that I've composed to go out to him via certified mail. My intention is to mail that letter tomorrow. And I think in that letter, I gave him till March 27th at 5 o'clock to get back to us whether he wants to request a public hearing or not. Because at this point in time, we have, for the first time, and I don't know when, we had 9 people take the written test on March 8th. All 9 of them passed. And I really we cannot give the sheriff the next group of names until this issue is resolved with this applicant. So,
Well, let's get the letter out tomorrow.
So do we need to vote to remove? approve the removal?
need a motion. What I think you need a motion on is that if he does reply back that he wants a public hearing, then let's go ahead and instead of waiting till next month to set that date, let's go ahead and set it tonight, that the public hearing would then be held on April 17th, which is the Thursday after our meeting.
Well, I think we can do that anyway. When does he have to respond to this? March what?
27th.
March 25th. So let's just, send it in to him, and we can do that over email. We can schedule
No, sir, you
a public
can't.
hearing. Can't you do it over email and then announce it on the website that we're going to have a public hearing?
No, it's got to be done in public.
I think we have to set it. An open meeting.
Under the open meeting law, that is an action item that needs to be approved in public.
Okay. All
So,
right.
so the suggestion is that we set a hearing time for Mr. Moreland in the event that he seeks a hearing.
How about if we make the motion that
Keep
we
you up.
have we set a time for a public hearing if necessary. We don't need to state anybody's name, do we? Just,
Oh, no. Well,
you know.
yeah, we do.
If I may ask the question, why are we setting that a month away?
To try and speed up the process, because our next meeting isn't until 16th, and then we would have to, if they don't approve it tonight, then you're going to go another 2 or 3 weeks
Okay.
for a
okay,
public hearing.
Okay. You're okay. I misunderstood the part about, I was trying to figure out why we're doing a month from, basically a month from today.
Trying to speed up getting you all names.
Okay, so
He has
if-
so
I
much
understand, I
time to
understand.
respond, and then.
well, he's got till March 25th, right?
March 27th.
Well,
Yep.
I'm good with, these guys need to get these people moving with resetting it. Can we have a meeting before our next scheduled meeting? Can we have an interim meeting, in a week?
You gotta
If we
publish
have
it.
to,
Yep.
if we have a hearing?
You got to publish notice of the meeting. You have to publish the agenda. And at this
That-
point,
that
we don't even
timeframe's
know
10
if
days.
these good man's going to object.
I'm not sure on the, I haven't read up on this one in a while. But for the public hearing, for him to request a public hearing, it's only 10 or 14 days.
Yes, yeah.
That's why I'm kind of asking why we're doing 28.
Because he has till 27th to decide if he even
Yeah.
wants a hearing.
We're not
You
going
can't go ahead and publish that we're having a hearing.
Okay.
Until he
Until he
decides
requests
he
one.
wants it.
Okay.
We're
So
already-
then your 2 weeks, it's gonna be the 14th, so
Okay.
Because for a public hearing, it's got to be published under legal notices in the newspaper, got to have time to do that.
Right. Okay. All right. Sounds good. I was just, got it.
Yeah.
Some little discussion.
Wait.
On the hearing for the person that they want removed. Is there something out there I'm not aware of that says that you gotta publish it in a paper, you gotta give 30 days, something like that? In the past, it was always 10 days. We would send them a letter, say you're entitled to a hearing. If you want a hearing within 10 days, Civil Service Commission would hold the hearing in 10 days.
There's no time limit for an applicant. It's 10 days to hold a hearing for a deputy on an issue, but not on an open applicant.
So why wouldn't we make it the same for an open applicant as we would?
because this has been our procedure.
I'm sorry?
This has been this commission's procedure.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talk- we're-
I understand, but we're not, yeah.
We're talking about contingency hasn't even occurred yet. Now, I'd be happy to hear a motion, if there is a motion regarding the setting of a hearing.
So do we need to vote to remove him from the list? We have to,
No, you don't need to vote.
I think that's administrative. He's,
Well, then why does he even have to send us a letter requesting he be removed?
Requested the open hearing. Requested hearing.
Needs to request a hearing.
He doesn't get a hearing unless he asks for it.
No, but Chief Young requested he be removed the sheriff's requesting he be removed from the list.
Right, and he's.
Don't we have to approve that removal from the list?
No, because if you vote to remove him from the list, then you just bypassed his right to a public hearing.
And that's when that's what should trigger the public hearing.
No, sir. It's never been done that way.
Well, okay. Make a motion, we set a tentative date for the public hearing of, what's the date, April 17?
Yes, sir.
April 7th
Second,
Second?
at 6 o'clock.
discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if he doesn't respond by the 27th, then there's going to be no public hearing and the sheriff can move forward. We
That's
can
right.
get the sheriff the list on the 28th, right?
That's correct.
Correct.
Okay. If he doesn't request a public hearing, you'll get the list on the 28th. So you don't have to wait until the 14th, just to make sure everybody understands that.
All right.
32, yeah.
Next item on the agenda, 2024-0032. Request for open hire physical agility and written exam, Ray, March 2025.
Okay, so there were 14 applications that were originally turned into us. Before the test date, we knew of 4 applicants that would not be reporting for the test. That took us down to 9. Out of the 9 for the physical agility test, 2 of them were not required to test because they were previously certified officers. So 7 of them did the physical agility test. All 7 of them passed the physical agility test. Again, a rarity. And so therefore 9 of those folks ended up sitting for the written examination. And from the written examination, all 9 of them passed the written examination. And I can't tell you the last time that's happened either. So with that being said, we have 9 applicants. You folks have in your packets the list of the 9 names and their scores. I provided the same list to the sheriff and to Chief Young this evening on that, so they know how the scores were. Some of the highest score was a 9. When all was said and done, the highest score was a 90, and that is a certified officer, previously certified officer with the City of Martinsburg. Then there was 3 people that, because of point preference for veteran, point preference for previously certified, that ended up tying for the second highest score of 85. And then the next score was an 82 and goes on down from there. The lowest score was that of a 71, and you need a 70 to pass. So with that being said, that's where we stand with those folks right now. Yeah. So just so I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. In the rules and regulations, it states that in the event there is a tie score for the 3rd position on the eligibility list, the names of those individuals go forward,
So they
the
could be
3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
So, and I know it says in the rules and regulations about the top 3. Just so I'm clear, and I think I only have to send the sheriff the 90 score and the 385 scores. I do not need to send him that. I cannot send him the 82 score, correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes,
just
that's what it reads.
trying to do it the right way. So, okay, we're good then. That works.
Any other discussion on that?
Not by me.
All right, okay. Issue 2025?
I was wondering how we were gonna do that too with the 5s. I figured
Yeah.
we get 4.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I think is right, so.
Makes sense.
If we had a couple more 85s, we'd have an issue. That's a rules issue too.
It is.
I think it references that, doesn't it? Doesn't it reference?
I think we
I
kept
think
in
it
there about the
says
third
ties.
place, but I don't know.
We're at second place.
Promotions, I'm not sure about.
I think it does.
All right,
We'll
well,
look at it.
I don't know offhand
Go
now.
check it.
okay. Issue 2025-0001, annual report.
Okay, in accordance with state code, make an annual report to the county court and the sheriff, showing its own actions, its rules and regulations, including all exceptions thereto in force, and the practical efforts thereof, and any suggestions it may have for more effectual accomplishment for the purpose of this article. Such report shall be available for public inspection 5 days after it shall be delivered to the county court and sheriff. Hopefully this evening, you folks will approve this report, and at that point in time, I'll get some signatures after we get done if you approve it.
All right, do I hear a motion?
I'm going to make a motion to approve the report.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's approved.
Okay. With that, I would like for you to make one more motion. It says in there about it being available for public viewing within after 5 days of it being submitted to the county commission and the sheriff. I would like for your commission, for one of you, for you folks to make a motion that it will be maintained in the civil service office, Suite 103, for public viewing. That's where it will be maintained for them. My intent, though, is it will also be published on our civil service webpage under the county clerk's office, but the civil service webpage for public viewing. But the hard copy will reside.
I'll make the motion, John.
Thank you.
Mr. Thompson, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, gentlemen, please do not run off after this meeting because I need signatures from you in that report.
Issue 2025-0003, promotional exam request for rank of sergeant due to Sergeant Higgy's demotion voluntary request, which created the vacancy as of July 1, 2024.
Okay, so with that one being said, I have two letters. One was dated February 18th from Chief Young requesting that a sergeant examination be given. And that was on, like I said, February 18th. And then yesterday I received, on March 17th, I guess that would be Monday, another letter from Chief requesting that a sergeant test and corporal test be given. I take it that sergeant is Hagee's vacancy test, correct? Okay. So to go back a little bit, last year when Sergeant Hagee stepped down, that left his sergeant's vacancy open as of 1 July 2024. We did offer a test for sergeant. At that point in time, we did not offer a corporal test to kind of coincide with that. It's been past practice. It was a trickle down type promotion. Why we didn't do the corporal test last year, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't. Go ahead. I think I know.
Simply because we only had one candidate eligible, and we had a pretty good idea that individual wasn't going to accept.
Yeah,
it,
and
simply because of the conditions that came out anyway.
Yes, sir. That's what yeah.
I remember.
So with that being said, fast forward to now. I guess I'll go ahead and bring it up, although it's under items from the floor, but it affects this issue. In your packet, you also have an addendum to the current rules and regulations. It's under the items from the floor. but it ties in with this. I would make the suggestion to you or recommendation for that addendum to be looked at and approved. I provided a read ahead to you for that addendum. In the revision of the rules and regulations, the way this issue, so it doesn't happen again, is going to be handled is using the 1 July vacancy date. The applicant turns it down. We would then come back to the sheriff every 30 days from the vacancy date to ask you, do you have anybody eligible for promotion? You'll need to give us a letter that says, nope, do not. Or, yes, I do. In the letter, in the addendum, that's what it says, every 30 days. The sheriff's office just had a deputy become eligible for promotion on March 17th.
By virtue of 2 years in rank.
By virtue of 2 years in his current rank. Correct. So, my thought process is, since we said every 30 days, then on April 1st, we're going to send the sheriff a letter that says, do you have anyone eligible for promotion to the grade of sergeant? And you're more than likely now going to write back that you have 2 eligible at this point in time. We're also going to be asking you, I guess, you going to have anybody eligible for the rank of corporal? Go ahead. Come up here, though.
I'm getting corrected here by text message, and he's right. We didn't test for the rank of
Corporal, because Corporal Hagee left the sergeant spot, putting us a corporal heavy.
Okay.
So we don't need that corporal spot, and we still do not. I'm going to have to rescind the corporal's test request because he's correct.
Okay.
Good catch, and that's exactly what I told him.
That's a great catch.
Yeah.
So then we only have one test to advertise, and that is for the rank of sergeant. And we will send that letter to the sheriff. Do you have anybody eligible on 1 April?
So what's the vacancy date?
The vacancy date will be,
What was this vacancy date?
July 1.
Because this reads 30 days from vacancy date, not every 30 days on the first of the month.
that's the way it's in the rules. Or that's the way
Well,
it's
I
in
know,
the
so what's
revision.
the vacancy date? What was it wasn't on a.
It was
first
July
of the
1.
Oh, it was the
That's
first.
when-
It was
Okay.
July 1.
Okay, that's fine, yeah. Yeah, I thought it was the middle of a month or something. If
No,
it's the middle of a month.
we threw that out at a meeting.
Yeah.
For example, if it would
Right,
be
right.
the 15th
Yeah.
of July, then we would send it on in this case, the 15th, every 30 days after that 15th. So, okay.
So you took vote on this.
Yeah, you're gonna recuse. All right, I think the record should reflect that
Yeah.
Mr. Dobson recused.
Okay.
I'm recusing from any vote or
Yeah.
motion on this
All right,
current.
I have a question about it. In the event that we do this, that we make this adjustment, what becomes I mean, as I understand it, if a deputy, the vacancy date is from the date, this would be July 1. Is that going to be the vacancy date of the next officer to step up? You follow me?
I do not see it that way.
Uh,
The way I see it is because the officer that is now, the officer that is now eligible, his date of eligibility wasn't until March 17th. So I think that then becomes the new date to go from.
You hear that?
Yeah.
For all that?
I got it.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Makes sense.
I have a
That's what we-
clarification question. Maybe I missed something in all the cross-talking, but, so are you saying that we have a person that's eligible as of Monday for the test, but we're going to wait till April 1st to send a letter in order to do the test?
Yes?
I may interject.
Yeah, go
I was
ahead.
just talking to the sheriff about that very issue. You have a person, in this case here, you're going by the first of the month, because that's when the original
Back in July.
vacancy date was. Okay. But let's say on the 17th of this month,
Okay.
you have a person becomes eligible. He needs to send you all a letter right now saying, I have a person eligible on the 17th. And then that way, that person, and then you can ask, is there anybody else eligible? Which would be the one person in this case that had turned it down. You should get 2 names. You can start from there. You don't have to wait till the next month.
So in our rules meeting, we discussed that if we do that, there's a possibility to manipulate the date.
Manipulate.
Well, because that person who turned it down could at any time say, okay, I want it now.
That's true.
So you've got to have a date and time, unless maybe he's got a buddy that's like not eligible till a certain date, and then he's
And I gotta
gonna.
tell you, in the conversations we had, then I misunderstood what you were coming at, because when a person becomes eligible, that's the date you're going by. You're doing every 30 days because you're checking in with him to see, has he had anything else come available? So you could have said it every 2 weeks. You could have said it every
could've.
week.
Yeah, but we didn't.
You said it, that's right. You said it every 30 days. But when he has, when he has a man that becomes eligible on this date, I think that you would be remiss as a commission by not going ahead and starting the procedures because he's eligible. Why are we going to wait? And if you take this situation away and you go with just standard promotions, he should be notifying you immediately when a person becomes eligible. Let's say that we didn't have that vacancy from clear back in July. Let's say that you had a vacancy that just came up 1 March, 17 March, he has a man that's eligible. He should be sending you a letter and you should be moving forward with that there. So in this case here, you should move forward. If he sends you a letter, you should move forward then. You don't have to wait till 1 April. He's done notified you, I got a man that's eligible. You can look at that and say, okay, do you have anybody else that's eligible? In this case, he would have 2. You know you're going to contact that other person, or contact them both and say, you're eligible. Do you want to test? Everybody's anticipating only one person is going to do that, and you move forward. You don't have to wait till 1 April.
All right.
Not gonna-
You got to go by what's eligible.
We're getting
Sorry.
people lined up at the podium.
So we don't even have a motion yet.
That's my
So
point.
there's nothing to really discuss
My
yet.
point is,
This is my argument.
There's no
there
motion.
hasn't been a motion, in the rules, certainly there's gonna be discussion, if there's a motion to adopt this, okay? I just wanna get back to procedure, so we're moving along, okay? All right, now, Mr. Alderton, you have suggested this amendment to the rules,
I
if
do.
I follow it. Is there a motion that we make this, that we adopt this? Is there a motion, any motion regarding this?
I'm recusing.
You're recused.
All right. I'll make a motion, we adopt it.
I'm in the position of a second, I believe. I second. Now, discussion. The motion's been made and been seconded. Now there's discussion, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Sheriff, excuse me.
Come up to the podium, please.
Yeah.
The letter's been sent. I've already sent the letter that he's eligible.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah. Look, apparently what we're discussing here is another change of rules, right? We're trying to move it up to deal with the situation we have. Okay? Yes, sir.
And these are the new proposed rules with my flags.
All right. We're trying to do this now, and as opposed to taking it through the Rules Committee, because we're trying to move this forward. Because as it is right now, we've got,
Okay, sir. We were under the impression that tonight is the night we discuss the issues we have. We weren't told to send them in, or we would have.
okay,
That was
Which
in
is
the
why-
email. Yeah, it was in the email.
To
To
send-
send them to John
okay,
and we would address all the questions at one time.
okay, all right.
Okay, fair enough.
Sir,
Sorry.
that's all right.
Back to where I was going. Since we're still operating under the same rules that we currently have in place and these aren't adopted and that every 30 days thing is not an adopted thing, why would we hold up this promotion test and not go ahead and start it immediately?
Because under the current rules,
Yeah.
nobody could ever test for that position except Cronister.
He's the only one that was eligible
vacancy
as of the date of the
is
vacancy.
set,
Okay, I
and that
understand.
never changes in the current rules.
So
Okay.
what we're trying to do is
That's
break.
the problem.
Excuse me.
No, you're
Go
fine.
ahead. I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead,
I
explain.
interrupted.
Cronister's the only one eligible.
Yes.
And he's not interested, from what we understand.
Yes.
But he's eligible, so we can't bypass him until that's basically cleared.
So, and I understand, and I don't mind to do an email to Mr. Alderton as far as my input on this, because I've got 24 years of dealing with civil service and promotions, and but the thing that what I'll say is, with the every 30-day thing, and this is something maybe to consider whenever you do look at your rules. Okay, let's say I am that sergeant and I have a dog, and I turn down that promotion today.
Right.
And 6 months from now, my dog dies, and I don't want to be a canine handler anymore, and I want to put in the test, then I'm going to send a letter to the sheriff that says, hey, I want a test, and that might be on April 5th. And then he's going to send it to you guys. Does that mean now we're still going to wait to the 1st, even though I've announced my intention to take it, he's announced his intention to fill it? Are we still going to pause and wait another 3 weeks, or are we going to go ahead and say, okay, our eligible guy's going to take that test, can we go ahead and move forward with the test? Is that something that maybe can be addressed, that if the eligible person decides during that period of time that their circumstances change and they want to take that test, that the sheriff can fill that vacancy with that eligible person?
Okay.
Just something to consider, because that could,
That's reasonable.
that could be, something that very well happens, because, canine handlers in the room, dogs pass away, things happen.
sure.
So circumstances change.
Right.
Just using that as the example.
At this point in time, we've got an addendum here, we've got a motion to adopt it, and we're in discussion period. I'm going to give my 2 cents on this. I think the idea was good. The idea was to move this forward and to break the logjam so we've cleared the list and we can move forward. But with the discussion I'm hearing, we're not ready to adopt this. There's just too many questions. Adoption, you recuse, but you can certainly discuss the rules, I believe.
Well, I don't know how we ever move forward if we don't adopt something.
Yes, I agree.
Some procedure for allowing a newly eligible person to test, or if he would change his mind. I mean,
Yeah.
he could have any number of things that kept him from taking it,
Yeah.
death in the family issues, whatever, at the time. And I mean, I think the feeling among the committee was that if at any point after that he wanted to accept the promotion, he could test again. We were trying to get some structure around it, though, so that there was at least some time period to reevaluate this, so it didn't fall off the table.
And I talk loud, so I'm just going to talk to my seat. Eric, I can come back up. What I'm
Please
saying-
come back up because, please.
So I don't disagree in principle of what you're saying of if someone doesn't take this test, that every 30 days you're going to send the sheriff a letter and say, is there somebody who wants to take it? I completely agree with that. And I think it's a good procedure in how you're looking at it. I'm just saying that maybe in your rule, and I'm not saying what you have to adopt tonight, but in your rules, you look and maybe put an addendum or an addition to that to say, we will petition the sheriff every 30 days to determine if someone, if the person who turned it down is going to decide to take the test. But, maybe upon notification from the sheriff that the eligible individual wishes to test, then you can move forward at that point, that you don't have to wait to the end of the 30 days.
That
Yeah.
sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so
makes
that
a lot
way
of
you're-
sense. We just were trying to get that Cronister could, or whoever the person is.
Yes.
Could potentially test at any time before that,
Yes.
if they so chose. And we were just trying to set a time period so it didn't fall off, and just forgotten.
Yeah, and we had talked about this with the Rules Committee stuff, and I completely wholeheartedly agree that there needs to be some sort of mechanism in place that this gets reviewed, and just like you said, it doesn't fall off the side of the plate. But in that same instance, if circumstances change and that person wants that test, I think there should be an and/or in there so that it would allow that person to say, okay, well, my dog passed. I don't want another dog. I want to go ahead and promote to sergeant and be a sergeant. Yeah, then he could do it at any point in time during the month, that it wouldn't, because then that negates your 30-day cycle anyway, because now your position's filled. So just thoughts.
Good thoughts.
Yep.
Just want to point out one thing about the rule. I think Mr. Moffett just pointed out to me, and I think the rules could consider, there's nothing in here to stop the sheriff from sending us a letter.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah.
The hard and fast 30-day thing was my question.
All this says is that, the only thing this says is that the commission will reach out to the sheriff every 30 days and ask him if there's anybody eligible. If the sheriff can reach out to us 365 days a year.
Yeah, that was, I think, more for us than for
That's
him.
right. That's just for us to make sure we're doing it. So, yeah, absolutely.
And did I hear the sheriff say he's already sent the letter? Huh?
They sent it to us.
Right,
Okay.
but you also sent me one last February 19th. February 19th of, last month?
I sent you one in February stating that it was coming up.
Yeah.
I didn't request anything, I was just giving you a heads up, hey, we got time again where we're going to be looking at charges.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to, point of order here. We got a motion. It's been seconded. It's time for a vote. You recuse. All right. All in favor of adopting this amendment as proposed, say yes. I do.
I
Two.
do, yes.
You got two. It's
I
passed.
do.
Now, that does not preclude tweaking it through the rules, right? Okay.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
All right.
So, I gotta get it right in my mind. Your letter just announced that for a sergeant vacancy. We don't have anything from your all's office that says you have anybody eligible. I mean, I don't want to go on an assumption that because you sent me a letter that somebody's eligible. You need to tell us.
I asked for eligible individuals according to code. I don't put people's names in the part. That's not my.
You guys have got to tell us who's eligible, because your all's records are more up to date, I'll be honest, than what our records are. And I always come back to
We'll send
you.
the letter tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you. That
Okay.
makes it
Easy
easy.
fix.
It's easy to
business.
send a letter.
New business, issue 2025-0004, legislative update.
Okay, there's several legislative initiatives out there. There's House Bill 2166. It relates to providing lateral transfers within the deputy sheriffs throughout the state. Where that really stands, again, I can't tell you that on your all's list. I do. Can I borrow your list? That one was introduced on February 10th. So we'll see how that one plays out. On House Bill 2615, it talks about how a deputy, after they have separated because of shortages within the department, within 5 years, they can apply for reinstatement. So after they've left.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is something that we dealt with 4 years ago on this commission. I'm glad to see, just takes a while, but it finally got there.
House Bill 2685 is relating to providing county sheriffs the authority to appoint a deputy chief, creating requirements for the establishment of the position, establishing duties, making the appointment position, and what have you, and requiring a department to have at least 25 deputies for that. So that has been referred to the Judiciary Committee. House Bill 28 10, a bill to amend the Code of West Virginia, 1931, as amended by adding to a section relating to providing salary increases for deputies with college degrees and providing county commissions with an election option to reimburse deputies for all tuition expenses and expenses incurred for the purchase of textbooks. Wonder if we could get that for the test. Promotional. Anyway, all right. So, House Bill 2863 is a bill to amend the code related to clarifying a sheriff's authority to hire within their own office. Again, that's been referred to the Committee on Government Organization. House Bill 2980 is a bill relating to taxes and the Division of Natural Resources providing a pensions benefit exempt from income taxation and including DNR police, deputy sheriffs, full-time firefighters, and municipal officers. A bill 193 to amend the state code relating to clarifying the amount of deputy sheriff's annual monetary payment for years of service. And that was referred to the Committee on Government Organization on February 12th. Senate Bill 503, a bill to amend the code relating to the appointment of more than one chief deputy by the sheriff. That was referred to the Committee on Judiciary on February 14th. A bill to amend the Code of West Virginia, designating and relating to providing all certified law enforcement officers tuition-free education up to the highest rate for higher education in the state. Again, that was referred on February 21st to the Committee on Education and then to the Committee on Finance. All those bills that I just referenced will be in the meeting minutes, so you can refer to that, and I will send out a document to you, Sheriff, and then you can disperse it.
Anything
down
in there
from
about only requiring one medical person to sign off?
No, I was shocked.
That needs to change though.
We need the lobby.
No, I agree. So that's that, sir.
New business. Item 2025-0004, new business.
Really, that's what we just.
Have any? We don't
That
have
was
any.
legislative update. Oh,
Yeah, that's what it is.
I'm sorry. Items from the floor.
The items I had from the floor was that addendum, which we've covered, so we're good with that.
All right. Announcements. Yep, well, yes, sir.
I want to go back to one thing we talked about earlier, trying to make a little sense out of it. Talking about that time frame of 30 days. There's nothing in the rules, even the old rules, it says about 30 days before you hold a hearing.
Before you hold a hearing on a.
For someone that's
Okay.
on the
He
appointment,
had-
on
he
the
has till
eligibility
the-
list.
He has till the 27th to respond. And we've got to publish. And we've got to get subpoena witnesses, all that. And I mean, 2 weeks is not unreasonable for all that to happen.
Okay, but I guess maybe I missed some of it because everybody kept talking about 30 days. And there's nothing, the only thing in the rules for 30 days is for an appeal of a hearing on a hearing board decision for dismissal, suspension, or anything like that. But when you look into the current rules that you have and the rules that we're rewriting, everything, there's no time frame whatsoever in there. If the sheriff decides he wants somebody removed and you offer him a hearing, it doesn't say whether it's 10 days, 2 weeks, 30 days. It's not in the rules. That's why we were sitting over here looking at it. I just looked through
There's
both.
something out there about 10 days. I don't know if it's in state code. It's for a deputy, not an open hire applicant.
Yeah, when we was talking about open hire,
That's here.
yeah, that
Yeah,
hearing
yeah.
review board has those those stipulations.
Okay.
But when we was talking about this person for a new hire, and I kept hearing 30 days being thrown out there, there's nothing in the rules about 30 days.
Say 30 days.
I misunderstand. So, okay.
I'm
I
just saying,
make
I
sure we're
didn't,
clarified. There's
yeah, I don't
nothing in
know
the
that anybody said anything about 30 days. It was just given time to respond and then time to schedule a hearing.
rules. And may got confused with other things, but 30 days was, that's why I'm asking.
The letter that's going out to the applicant is dated March 20th, and it gives him to the 27th to respond. That's not a lot of time. Or it's not excessive time, I don't think. And then we have time to set up the hearing. That's what we're working with.
Yeah, because again, at that point, when he responds, and we're one step ahead by already setting the date, then the commissioners will need to decide who they're going to subpoena. In this case, it's probably going to be, like last time, the sheriff, Chief Young, because he wrote the letter at the direction of the sheriff, and whoever the investigator is. That applicant is also entitled to have subpoenas served on whoever. So there needs to be time to write up those subpoenas and to get those subpoenas served. So again, I don't think the hearing of 17 April was too far. That's my opinion.
The chair will entertain a motion to convene, or to adjourn, excuse me. Oh, wait, sorry, didn't see you.
Okay, so we know that there is not adequately, but we're redoing it, letter already been sent. You already asked me about dates. Do we need to do that here? Because I don't want to wait another month. Can we do that now? We've already discussed them.
Yeah, I know what you're saying now. Yeah. Thank you.
We totally
What
know
she's
how-
referring to is the promotional test date for the sergeant position. I forgot. Thank you. The 24th and 25th. It was 2 dates of April. 24th and 25th. Those were dates that I checked with. As you say, the calendar lady, Miss Brandy, that she wrote back that was her preferred because the date, the training room is available and what have you. And I guess both applicants would be available for those.
From every calendar, yes.
So those are the primary dates.
Okay.
So she's right. We need you to tell us what date to do the test for sergeant.
I can't.
You can. Okay.
What date? 24th? I don't care.
24th and 25th.
I'll be back. I'll be here.
All right, I can certainly proctor if we need to.
Okay. Is there? We didn't discuss a time.
They're both day shift guys, it doesn't matter.
What time during the day works for you?
I'm retired.
I can do it Thursday or Friday, anytime you want.
Me too.
Just pick one.
9 a.m.
That works. 9 a.m.
Which date?
Which date?
Thursday.
Thursday the 24th.
Okay, anything else from the floor?
Announcements. Wait. Oh, as of February 26th of last month, we've begun officially recording the meeting minutes in the system of record for the county clerk's office. I got that from another civil service commission that they actually recorded. It gives it an instrument number and what have you. The date of recording along with the time the document is recorded, validated, stamped, what have you. We also went back and recorded the public hearing that we held back in October of last year. That, and my discussion with the clerk, because when I found out this other Civil Service Commission had done that, I said, is this something we should be doing, boss? And he said, oh, most definitely. So they are being recorded now. The annual report will also be recorded in the county clerk's office. So And then our last announcement, hopefully our meeting will be held here the 16th of next month.
Now,
Now,
motion to adjourn.
second.
In favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I'll talk to that one day. 24th, I'll be here. Yes.
Well, it's up to you. I can do it.
What's that?
I can do it if you need me.
Well, if something happens, I'll let you know. Other than that, I'll plan on it. I put it on my calendar. So, no big deal.
The time is 6:30. The meeting was adjourned at 6:30.
sir.
Long time,
Buddy, you know that. Good to see you too.
Thank
you, sir.
Yes, sir.
What's up, buddy?